All right, so today is something that I've been thinking about for a long time and haven't actually got it out for, peer review or, anything other than, basically rattling around in my little brain here. But, basically, we all know what the problem is. Rich people getting richer, poor people getting poorer. But, what are we going to do about it? So, the most logical, efficient, and, quick way would be, Fortune, or, major companies, Fortune 500, just if your country or your company is able to, do stock buybacks on a regular basis, rapid expansion, if you fit the bill and whatnot, but, your base employees are, at minimum wage or, next to it or something along those lines. Essentially just, switch that around to something, ideally, instead of targeting a dollar amount, I would say, if the banking recommendation for cost of living is, excuse me, 30% of your monthly wages going towards housing, then just target the base wage to be at, 30% of what housing would be, wherever the facility is that they're, required to go in for a set days out of the week or, what have you. Whatever building it is that they, are worked on or work in, that building, the county that building's in, that base or the average housing cost should be 30% of that employee's monthly wage. And, as you go up the line, just take the, current percentage as it is now, and then, increase to that level, potentially reducing, from the top down. But even that, maybe, that's not necessarily the total problem, although that's definitely, worth looking into. But yeah, other than that, and then, not every company is designed to be a cash cow and every job is important. If it wasn't important, somebody wouldn't be paying you to do it. And, let's just, we don't want it to just turn out to be, we have 5 companies that are not competing with anybody and, employing everybody. Part of the American dream is, owning your own business or anything along those lines. So, if we're getting lots of, everybody's able to make their, monthly cost of living and, saving for retirement and having more money to spend as they see fit, without having to work, so hard, comply with weird and, I don't know, just restrictive rules or whatever, like mandatory, the one that's fresh in my mind right now with the company I'm working at, it's mandatory overtime for, potential, 6 10s in the week or something like that. It's just, I don't know, ridiculous, but, where's I going with that? But yeah, so I mean, there's gonna be that. So, if we're got the bulk of the population is, working for a handful of, companies as it is. So that's the logical first step to increase those wages. And how would we increase those wages? It would be through collective action and unionization. Wow, I can't really talk this morning, but not important, but it would be through collective action and unionization to be able to go to the table and just be like, hey, this is the New Deal. And then after that, everybody who's not necessarily, going to be working for one of those, major companies that's able to just, flip the switch and, pay everybody out. We'll have to have, like some sort of, federal and state funding to be able to, make sure that it's a competitive playing field across the board. That any business that, fits the criteria and, isn't just, all of a sudden now a business, doing no business, bad actors or what have you. But have a federal fund or a state, federal and state fund that, compensates, all other businesses' employees to the same level as the base, at least the base wage of, 30% of their monthly income would be going to cost of living. And I'm saying, the percentage, because, if you look at like, I don't know, like anywhere in time or whatever, it's not, the money is gonna, fluctuate and whatnot, but the percentage, that's a strong thing. And even like top earners or things like, billionaires versus, like everybody else, that's a strong, you can correlate that easily and identifiably with a percentage, not necessarily like, hey, it's bad to, have $1 billion or that's an unfair scenario that, like let's talk about it. They just did that No Kings rally and whatnot, and, in today's day and age, I mean, you get that much money. I mean, you're doing whatever you want to do. So, and you have the funding to be able to, do all sorts of, what have you, and the resources to do it. And that's, that's not something that was ever, we didn't, form the United States to, have a handful of people, being able to, lobby the government to, fund politicians to be able to, buy major companies at, a will or something like that. So that is a problem. But the best way to, take a look at that and, ensure fair play across the board is to tie that to percentages. So, if somebody is like, and I don't have any of the hard numbers right now, but we're just getting the train of ideas out, But yeah, target it off of percentages and, you increase the base wage. That's also going to help fix out, a lot of, like federal funding issues, in terms of, you have more people making more money, you're going to be able to get more tax off that, which I'm not saying for or against at this point in time, but, just logically speaking, the best, most efficient, and fairest plan forward is to have, the bulk of everybody not, struggling to make ends meet, in a position where they're, in more control of their situation. And, albeit, on the other hand of that, making, the tax base that much stronger, more resilient, and, probably able to be more self-sustaining without having to, do weird, unbeneficial stuff. So, yeah. that's pretty much where I'm at today. And, you know, it's going to, you know, in my mind, it's going to start with the major companies that are able to just essentially do that. They won't do that on their own out of, just how the structure is set now. We may very well have people who would see the benefit in that and out of the goodness of their own hearts just, be willing to do that. But it's just not reality that we're living in right now where that'll, ever be able to fully come down the pipeline. Have they the will, the, foresight and the, just be into that in general. It's just not how that's going to work. The employees are going to have to come together and collectively agree that, yeah, we want a new deal and, this is the framework for that deal. And then after that, so nobody gets left behind. We're just going to have to, every job is important. If it wasn't, we wouldn't be doing it. Not every job is going to be designed to be a cash cow, and nor should it. But every job is important. We want them all done. We want everybody who's doing those jobs to be able to, afford all of their expenses and, have enough left over to have a good life. But yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at today. You got anything to add to it? Positive, negative, leave it on down below. But yeah, these are things we need to start thinking about. And, I've been thinking about this for a good long time and just, haven't done anything with it, albeit, I've been doing some mandatory overtime and whatnot and, focusing on my own little world here. But, yeah. Just wanted to throw that one out there and, leave your thoughts below and, hope you're doing well and, yeah.